Hi, this is Books with Brushu. I'm Jordan. I like to drink coffee and read books. And don't worry, this is iced coffee, but it is not all the way full. I don't need that much coffee. We are here today to talk about my Book of the Month subscription. I have been a Book of the Month member since September of 2023. This was the first book subscription box that I ever subscribed to. My main goal in getting this subscription was to get a new released book, a brand new book every month, and to read some books that are outside of my typical reading genres, which are mostly fantasy and romantasy and romance. So I wanted to branch out into other genres, maybe read some books that I hadn't heard of, especially like historical fictions that I hadn't heard of, just to look at a list that somebody else has created and put together and hopefully find a new favorite book. I'm going to briefly review the books that I have read from this subscription, and then also talk about the quality of the books, the choices that are available every month, and if I would recommend the subscription or not. Before we jump into talking about all of the books that I've read from Book of the Month, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. It really does help me out. Let's jump into the first Book of the Month book that I read. That is The Stranger Upstairs by Lisa M. Matlin. And this was the September 2023 book. So this was my first book that I got in the subscription, and then I also immediately read it a couple months later. I read it in October. So I got it in September and I read it in October. I actually finished it on top. I can talk today. I actually finished it on October 4th, so I did start it in the same month that I got it. That was my original goal, was to read the book that I got that month. Well, with me doing my spinner wheel TBRs for YouTube, that has not always happened, unfortunately. That was my original goal, was to read the books as I got them, and of course that just didn't pan out. This is a mystery thriller. It's mainly about a haunted house. A married couple buys this old rundown house in this small little town. The people of the town don't really want them there, and the house doesn't want to be fixed up. The house doesn't want to be fixed up. However, the main female character, she's also pretty sketchy. There's some other stuff going on with her that you kind of find out at the end. So I did enjoy this book. It was a good mystery thriller. I tend to not purchase mystery thrillers because I know that I'm never going to read them more than once. So I got this book to try it out. Plus, I really love the cover. The colors on it are really pretty. I did enjoy this book. I read The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. This was the October 2023 pick. And this was the first Adrienne Young book that I've ever read, and I really enjoyed it. I like the magical realism in this book. June is our main female character, and her family, the women in her family, can basically travel back and forth in time. She's got multiple lives going on. The problem is you don't always remember, you don't always have your memories, but there's some tricky things that go on here, and I really enjoyed this book, and I really do want to read more by Adrienne Young. These aren't in exact order of how I read them, but then I picked up Happily Never After by Lynn Painter, and this was an extra book that I could add to my subscription. So this was one of the Homey and Homely book club books, one of the months, probably for February. And this was also my first Lynn Painter book. Hi Pascal. Hi BB. What are you doing? You gonna help me record this video? Yeah, you check it out. He's curious today. Anyway, this was the first Lynn Painter book that I have read, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed the author's writing, and I've since gone to read another Lynn Painter book and also enjoyed that one. What you doing? You wanna say hi? Come here. Look at the camera. Hi. 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 Okay, bye. Then I picked up Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. And I read these pretty quickly, one after the other. And I really enjoyed them both. So these were both extra picks, just extra books that I added to my subscription because I had heard really great things about Divine Rivals and wanted to read both of these books. And I did, in fact, enjoy them. They are kind of fantasy, like historical fantasy, set in like a World War I-ish setting about two rival journalists who work for, I think, newspapers, and they write columns in the newspaper. They have magical typewriters that will send letters back and forth between them. And it's really cute, and I really enjoyed the romance in here, and I really enjoyed the story, and I do highly recommend this duology. And a prequel actually just came out a couple of months ago, and I do have that one in the Book of the Month version as well. I just haven't read it yet. Then I read the duology by Isabella Banez, What the River Knows and Where the Library Hides. And if you have seen any of my videos in the past year, you will know that I absolutely loved this duology. I devoured it. I loved the author's writing. I loved the characters. I loved the Egypt setting. These are historical fantasies where there's a unique magic system. The main female character is Inez, and the main male character is Wit, and they have a fraught relationship where they do fall in love, and it's so great. I just loved this duology so, so much. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. And the last two, I have so many Book of the Month books that I haven't read yet. It's a problem. It's definitely a problem. I have here The Nightingale and the Women by Kristin Hannah. Now, Kristin Hannah is one of my most favorite authors. She writes historical fictions. This one's set in World War II. This one's set in the Vietnam War, and I love them. They are gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, difficult to read, deep. Just, they're so good. They're so good. I recommend all Kristin Hannah books. Just find out what they're about before you start reading them, just in case, but I really love them like so much. Highly, highly recommend any Kristin Hannah book. Those are the ones that I've actually read. Now, let's talk about the book selection. Every month, you can pick between usually 5 or 6 books to be your book of the month. They range from fantasy, YA, contemporary romance, historical fiction, literary fiction, autobiographies, nonfiction, so many different genres, so many different genres. You get to pick between 5 or 6 books every single month, and that's your book of the month book. You can purchase credits. You can do 1 credit at a time, so basically 1 a month. If you want a little bit of a cheaper option, you can purchase 12 credits at once. You purchase all 12 credits at once, and you have 12 months to use all of those 12 credits. You can skip any month you want to. There's no penalties for skipping. It's just that if you do purchase those 12 credits, you only have a year to use them. So if you skip a couple of months, later on down the line, you're gonna have to get more than 1 book a month so that your credits don't just disappear. The reason I say that is because that just happened to me. In November, I realized I had like 7 or 8 credits that I needed to use by January. I had to make sure that I used those up. You can add up to 4 additional books every single month, so you would receive 5 total that month. So since I had 8 credits, I needed to split that up over a couple of months to make sure that I used all my credits. So I went ahead and did that, and that's when I got The Nightingale and some other Kristin Hannah books so that they would all match. That's how the subscription works. How do I feel about this monthly selections? Sometimes I think the monthly selections are great. Sometimes I don't. Honestly, last year I skipped a lot of months because I either wasn't interested in the books that I had to choose from, or they were books I was already receiving in subscription boxes. So I have the Fairy Loot YA, Fairy Loot Adult, Fairy Loot Romantasy, and Illumicrate subscriptions. Oh, and also the Fairy Loot Epic Fantasy. So I have all of those subscriptions. So sometimes the books are the same. So I'm obviously going to get the Fairy Loot versus the book of the month because the Fairy Loots are special edition. So sometimes they're the same as my Fairy Loot books. And then other times it's just that I don't need to own those books on my shelves. Since I have so many books, I'm trying to be more picky about the books that I actually purchase. So I'm trying not to purchase mystery thrillers and romance books unless they're like a beloved author or something, just because I'm not going to reread those books. I'm just not going to. They're like a one and done for me. So I'm trying to get those at the library and not purchase those because I know that they're just going to sit on my shelves. I'm most likely not going to reread them. It's one of those three things. I'm not interested in the book, it's already in a different subscription, or I don't need to own the book on my shelves. So that happened to me a lot last year, and I was trying to be way more picky about what books I was choosing to have physically in my possession. That's why I ended up with so many credits at the end of the year. Another thing that I want to say, usually they're fantasy picks, romantasy picks for the month. Recently, they've been doing editions with sprayed edges, which that's all well and great. I love a sprayed edge. I love a colorful end paper. So fun. But don't charge me extra for it. Don't charge me extra for it. Or give me the option to pick that book without the sprayed edges so I can just pay the regular price. So I buy 12 credits for the year, and it breaks down to about $13 per credit, maybe $14 per credit to include shipping, something like that, or taxes, to include taxes. So it's like $13 or $14 a book just normally, and then you add $3 on top of that for a sprayed edge. Well, I can get that book cheaper somewhere else, like Book Outlet or Amazon, or on sale at Barnes & Noble when they do their sales. $17 for a mediocre special edition. It has sprayed edges. They're not nearly as intricate as like Fairy Loots or Illumicrates. And let me just pull out an example. Like this one. Very pretty sprayed edges, but plain. They're just rings. It's pretty plain. And it does have some end page art, but again, not as intricate as Fairy Loot or Illumicrate. And it's the same on the front and the back. And then there's nothing on the hardcover. That's fine, but is it $17? Is it $17 worth? I personally don't think so, because I could get the normal edition of this for cheaper on Book Outlet. Because Book Outlet runs sales for like $6 or $7 a book. And then like the highest price that they have on there for a book is like 10 or 12 bucks. And that's for like a special edition book with sprayed edges and end page art and like a redesigned cover and blah, blah, blah. I want the choice to pick the same book just without the sprayed edges. I just don't think they're gonna do that. And now that they have their specific like fantasy, romantasy subscription, I think it's called Allurial, those are much more expensive. And they all have sprayed edges and they all have like redesigned covers and stuff. I haven't really looked into that subscription very much just because I don't need another book subscription. But have I been tempted? Yeah, I have, because I love romantasy books. This is a review on just the regular book of the month. Let's talk about the quality of the books. I will say, when I received my first book of the month book, I was not impressed with the quality. I was not impressed with the quality. Every month you do get a bookmark, so that's fun. I do love getting a bookmark every month. The books are always two-toned, and they have their little emblem here. And the dust jacket always has the book of the month emblem on the spine and on the cover, on the front. I just wasn't impressed with the quality of their hardcovers. They just felt not very well made. Sometimes when they're like glued together on this front page, they're like not always even, or sometimes they're kind of bumpy, like the glue didn't dry flat. And so they're kind of bumpy or like wavy. And especially this front page too, like it's all bumpy and wavy, like right here. And I know you can't see that because it's white, but if you run your hand along it, you can feel that it goes like this. So I just wasn't super impressed with the quality of the books. See, like this one, this Lynn Painter one, I've only read this book once. And look at, can you see it's already torn up here? And I am very gentle with my books. Like I am super gentle with my books. I don't know if it like got dinged or something, but like the whole spine up here is totally like dented and like broken. And I'm pretty sure that it came like that. So It's just not the best quality. Now, be that as it may, since they're not the highest quality hardcovers I've seen, they are relatively inexpensive. So there's that. They also have a lot of subscribers, so they have to print and recover these books quickly. For a lot of people, their quality just sometimes isn't the best because of that. I feel that's how I feel about it. You may have a different opinion, but that's just how I feel about it. After being a member for 2.5 years, that's just some of the trends that I've been seeing in the books. Now, they do have some great perks. So every year for your birthday, you get a free book. As long as you've been a member. I think if you've been a member for 6 months, you have to be a member for 6 months before you get these special bonus offers. So for your birthday, you get 1 free book for that month. And then every year they have a best book of the year. It's called their Lolly Award, and you can vote on that. Once the Lolly winner is selected, you can choose between that book or the other top nominations. There's usually 5. So you can pick one of those top 5 nominations to get for free, and that's usually in March. So you get 2 free books throughout the year, no additional cost. That's already built into your subscription cost. And then there are other perks that you can get when you first sign up. So a lot of times they run a deal. Your first book is $5.99 and you get like a free hat or something, or a free tote bag or whatever it is for that month. So that is nice. And then every month with your book of the month, you do get a bookmark. And they've changed throughout the years. Like now they're thinner and blue, and this year they're doing the 100 years of books and doing different book covers on the bookmarks. So they do send you a bookmark every month with your book as well. So that's nice. I enjoy that, and I keep them all in my actual books when I get them. So would I recommend this book subscription? I would recommend this book subscription to somebody who is just getting back into reading. Maybe they're not sure what books they would enjoy. They want to try something new, maybe try some new authors, just to have a short list of books to choose from, of ones that they might enjoy, to find something new, to get back into reading, something like that. If you have a ton of books on your shelf, you're a book connoisseur, you consume a lot of bookish content, then maybe Book of the Month subscription is not for you. Maybe you already have all of the picks on your radar, or you know what specific genres you already love and which ones you don't, and you're not looking to branch out. Then I would not recommend this subscription for you. You can find a lot of the books less expensive elsewhere, or pre-ordering them on a discount. Barnes & Noble 3 or 4 times a year runs a 25% off pre-order sale. So that's where I get a lot of my new books, is from Barnes & Noble, because I get them 25% off, plus my 10% member discount. Take it with a grain of salt. Ask yourself, what do you want out of this subscription? What are you interested in gaining out of this subscription? Is it new book recommendations, getting out of your comfort zone? Then sure, this is a great way to do that, and it's not very expensive. And you can try it out for 3 months and just see if you like it or not. And just go from there. I have a lot of book subscriptions, and so I don't always get through them every month. Actually, I would say I never get through them every month because I have a lot of books, but I read a lot of books. I read between 10 and 13 books a month, depending. Half of those are audiobooks, so those I get from the library. So physical books, I read six-ish a month, and that's literally as many subscription boxes as I have. So I have 3 Fairy Loots, sometimes 4, Illumicrate, and Book of the Month. Now, I don't always get Book of the Month or Illumicrate. The Epic Fantasy is only every quarter, so every 3 months. In any given month, I can be getting between 3 and 6 books in my subscription boxes. So it's very difficult for me to read them all in a month, since I only really read 6 physical books a month. Also, what are your priorities? Do you know that you would definitely read the Book of the Month book every month? Then sure, go ahead. That has been my goal, and I have failed miserably at that. And I will fully admit that I have failed miserably at that. It just hasn't quite worked out the way that I wanted it to. Also, that has to deal with me posting videos on YouTube because I do my spinner wheel TBRs and I like to stick to those TBRs, and sometimes the book of the month books just don't fit the prompts, and that's just how it is. I hope that answered some of your questions about book of the month. If you have more questions or you're wondering anything else about this subscription, please leave that in the comments down below and I'll get back to you. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please tune in for some more bookish content, spinner wheel, TBR videos, reading vlogs. I've got a really cool reading vlog coming up soon. So please like this video, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on that really cool reading vlog that's coming up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.